Welcome to Foods 101. I'm Deronda, and today I'm going to show you how to make these old-fashioned cake donuts. And let me tell you, they are delicious. But to get this donut assembled and get it together, you're going to need 4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of sugar, 2 eggs, 1/4 of a cup. This is an unsalted melted butter, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1½ teaspoons of salt, 4 teaspoons of baking powder, not baking soda, but baking powder. And here we have 1 cup of milk at room temperature. And when we get this donut assembled, I'm going to show you how to make this really delicious glaze after we fry them. You're also going to need about 2 to 3 cups of vegetable oil. That's what I'm using today to fry these donuts in, but you may use canola oil if you have canola oil on hand. So it'll be up to you. But now to get this started, we're going to go ahead in this bowl, add your sugar into a medium-large bowl and your baking powder along with your salt and your nutmeg. And you want to take this whisk, you're just going to whisk it around till you get it really well incorporated. Doesn't take much. Next, we're going to add the melted butter with the 2 eggs. Now I crack my eggs in a bowl before I add it to the mixture to make sure I've got a nice fresh egg. That way you're not going to ruin your whole batter if you get a bad egg in the bunch, but it's very rare. I don't ever think I've really come across a bad egg. And then I've got 1 cup of buttermilk we're going to add in here. Wow, and if you haven't had homemade cake donuts, let me tell you, you're in for a big surprise. And you don't think they're going to be too easy to make, but to tell you the truth, they're pretty easy and also a lot of fun. Next, we're going to add about 3 cups of the 4 cups of flour. Now, I use a wooden spoon. I believe it would get stuck in the whisk because the batter gets a little thick. You're just going to incorporate all this very, very well. Now, if you find your dough to be very sticky or wet, you may use like 1/2 cup of flour at a time because we're going to need additional flour to roll out cake donut batter. All right, mine's needing a little bit more flour. So I'm adding about 1/2 cup. That was probably a little bit more than 1/2 cup. It should be looking a little something like this. Kind of coming loose away from the bowl that you're mixing in. And I'm going to need just a little bit more flour. And this will do it. Here's the plastic wrap. Now this goes in the refrigerator for the next 1 hour. I've just taken my dough out of the refrigerator. It's been in there about an hour. And I'm only working with about half of my dough at a time, so I'm just splitting it in 2 and pulling out half of my dough. You're just going to flour your surface here. Just generously flour your surface. And get your hands in the flour and roll your dough into a little ball here. It's still kind of sticky, as you can see there. Alright, just kind of roll it in a ball. And you're going to roll this out about 1/2 inch thick. And I've got me a nice little wooden spoon here, and I've marked 1/2 inch on the end of my wooden spoon. That way I can know how thick my dough is before I start cutting it into rings. Alright, got me a rolling pin. Yum, I can smell the nutmeg in these cake donuts. Alright, that looks like about 1/2 inch, and it is. It's right there on the money, as you can see. I'll bring it down and let you look at that. See, right there's my line. And the dough's high enough. There you go. To make the donuts, I'm just going to make sure I flour. This is a 3½ inch ring, and I'm going to go down in there. It may stick the first time, but make sure you get a lot of flour on it. Let's come back over here again. Just make another one. Shouldn't stick so badly that time. That first donut's always going to stick because your ring isn't floured very well. And then here we're going to make the center. This is about 1 inch in diameter. And just go right in here to the center of the donut. Okay, and it sticks just a little bit. All right, now you're going to fry your donut holes too. And then we're going to go ahead and cut the center of this donut out. And see, the more you do it, the more floured your utensils become and the easier it is. All right, now time to take these over here, put them in the oil. So follow me and I'll show you how we're going to fry them up. I've got my oil heated to 360 degree Fahrenheit. You can go as high as 370, and you're going to gently just add the donut in there. And the total time in this cooking is going to be about 3 minutes. They've popped up nice and lovely and golden brown, and now we're just going to flip them over, and look how beautiful that is. Woo, these are going to be yummy. And then we'll give them about another minute. And listen, you can't get a better cake donut than that. Oh my goodness, yummy. And remember to have a tray over here where you can drain your donuts on. I've got like a cooling rack, and on top of that I have paper towels. That way we'll get all the oil off these donuts before we roll them in sugar and cinnamon, or if we just want to put a little glaze on them. And I'll be back to show you how to do it. I've got all my donuts and my donut holes fried, and here I've got some donut holes that I've dipped in just regular sugar and cinnamon. It's about 1/4 of a cup of granulated sugar and 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. So here I'm going to make a glaze, and this is very, very simple. We're going to start off by 2 cups of powdered sugar, or you could know this as icing sugar, and I'm going to add about 1/2 teaspoon of honey in there. And then I've got a little bit of vanilla I'm going to add to it. So there's our vanilla. I'm going to take a whisk and I'm going to add a little bit of water until I get it the consistency the way I want it. And we definitely want it smooth enough to be able to dip our donuts into. Okay, now just going to add a little bit more water. Now don't overdo it on the water because you can get it too thin, and then you'll be adding more powdered sugar and you'll have more glaze left than you're going to need. But look how beautiful that's coming along. Alright, so next, as you notice, I've used a large bowl here. So next we're just going to take one of our donuts over here, as you can see, and I'm just dipping it in there. Ooh. And looky there, you got a beautiful glaze on it. I've got a cooling rack over here that I'm just going to lie it on so the excess frosting can drip off. I've got donut holes here. Just swirl those around with a fork. Now, if you want, you can also dip these in just regular powdered sugar. And then you have your white powdered sugar donut holes and put them over here. Alright, I think I'm going to dip another donut. And these donuts feel so beautiful and light and fluffy. Woo! Can't wait to dig in and show you one. But look how beautiful that is. Yeah, that's a winner. Alright, stick it over here and continue doing it till you have them all glazed. I'm going to go ahead and get a glazed donut hole here. And I'll show you what it looks like on the inside. Look how nice and light and airy that is. Mmm. Oh, yummy. That is one killer old-fashioned cake donut. Hope y'all give these a try. I'm Deronda with Foods 101. Thanks for watching.